What if I told you the only thing standing between you and the life of your dreams is you? Let that sink in. It's not the economy, your upbringing, or the people around you, it's you. And here's the thing, most of us are walking around carrying invisible chains, held back by our own doubts, fears, and habits. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Imagine waking up one day and realizing you've been living at 40% of your potential, not because you're not capable of more, but because you've allowed fear, excuses, and distractions to dim your fire. Doesn't that terrify you? It should. That's why you need to stay with me for the next few minutes. Because what I'm about to share could be the key that unlocks your greatness. Every one of us has dreams, big, bold visions of the life we want to live and the person we want to become. But the truth is, most of us never get there. Why? It's not because we lack talent, resources, or opportunities. It's because we're held back by silent saboteurs, those subtle, insidious forces within us that keep us from moving forward. They don't announce themselves loudly. They don't wave flags. Instead, they whisper doubts, plant hesitation, and wrap us in a cocoon of comfort that feels safe but suffocates our potential. These saboteurs often take the form of habits, fears, or beliefs we've carried for years. Think about it. How often do you tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow, or I'm not ready yet? How often do you aim for good enough because the thought of failing at great scares you? These are the whispers of self-doubt. They convince you to stay small, to avoid risk, to cling to what feels familiar, even when you know it's holding you back. The silent saboteurs also show up in our need for approval. We waste precious energy seeking validation from others, trying to fit into boxes we were never meant to be in. We play roles, wear masks, and dim our own light just to make others comfortable. And in doing so, we betray ourselves. Greatness, authenticity. But the saboteurs make us believe that being ourselves isn't enough. Then there's fear, the ultimate saboteur. It disguises itself as logic, as practicality. It tells you, play it safe. What if it doesn't work out? Or who do you think you are to aim so high? But here's the secret. Fear isn't there to protect you. It's there to test you. It's a challenge to see if you're willing to push through discomfort to claim the life you deserve. And let's not forget distraction, the modern saboteur. We live in a world that thrives on stealing our focus, on pulling us in 1,000 different directions. Social media, endless notifications, and the constant rush of busyness, it all keeps us from doing the deep work necessary to achieve greatness. It keeps us from looking inward, from asking the hard questions, from confronting the saboteurs head on. But here's the thing, these saboteurs don't define you. They're not permanent fixtures of your life. They're challenges to be overcome. The first step is awareness. You have to name them, see them for what they are, and recognize how they're holding you back. Only then can you start to break free. Imagine what your life could look like without these chains. Imagine waking up every day with clarity, purpose, and the confidence to chase your dreams without hesitation. That life is possible, but it starts with a decision to stop letting the silent saboteurs run the show. They're not as powerful as they seem. The power has always been in you. It's time to take it back. Greatness isn't some exclusive club reserved for the lucky or the gifted. It's not a birthright or something handed to you by chance. Greatness is a choice, your choice. Every single day you are presented with opportunities to step closer to it or walk away from it. The question is, are you choosing it? Or are you letting the excuses, distractions, and fears dictate your path? Most people convince themselves that greatness belongs to someone else. They point to circumstances, money, talent, connections, and say, if only I had what they have. But that's not how it works. Greatness doesn't care about where you started or what you lack. It's about what you're willing to do. It's about the discipline to show up, to give more than you think you can, and to keep going. The path gets hard. You see, greatness isn't about being the smartest or the most talented in the room. It's about being the one who refuses to quit. It's about making the decision day after day to keep striving, even when it feels like the odds are stacked against you. And that's where most people falter. They wait for motivation, for the perfect moment for the stars to align. But those moments don't create greatness. The decision to act, even when it's hard, does. Every choice you make, no matter how small, is a step toward or away from greatness. When you choose to hit the snooze button instead of getting up and chasing your goals, you're stepping away. When you choose comfort over growth, you're stepping away. But when you choose to take that extra step, to make the uncomfortable call, to push past the doubt in your mind, you're choosing greatness. And the beautiful thing is, It's a choice you can make at any Mikael. It's not about perfection, it's about persistence. The greatest among us are not those who never fail, but those who never stop trying. They are the ones who decided again and again that they wouldn't settle for mediocrity. They chose to invest in their dreams, their skills, and their vision. And they did it consistently, even when it felt like progress was slow, even when no one else believed in them. Greatness also requires sacrifice. You have to give up the excuses, the blame, and the need for instant gratification. You have to let go of the fear of judgment and the addiction to comfort. These things might feel good in the moment, but they're the enemies of your potential. Choosing greatness means prioritizing what matters most, even when it's not easy or convenient. So what's holding you back from making that choice? Is it fear, doubt, the belief that you're not enough? Let me tell you this, greatness doesn't require perfection, and it doesn't demand that you have all the answers. It only requires that you decide right now that you're done playing small. Because once you make that decision, everything changes. Excuses are the most dangerous roadblocks to greatness. They appear as convincing justifications disguising themselves as logic, practicality, or self-preservation. We all make them. I don't have enough time. I'm not qualified. I'll never be able to do it. These excuses may seem harmless, but in reality, they are self-imposed prisons, keeping us from the life we know we're capable of living. What we fail to realize is that excuses don't protect us, they limit us. They feed into our fear, our uncertainty, and our doubts, convincing us that we're not worthy or capable of reaching our full potential. When you use excuses, you surrender your power. You hand over control of your future to things outside of your influence. You let the circumstances of your life define your capabilities, and you allow the stories you tell yourself to dictate your choices. But here's the truth, excuses are a trap. And once you break free from them, you unlock a world of possibility. Think about the excuses you've made in your own life. How often have you said, I'll start next week, or I'm too busy to focus on this? These are common phrases that mask fear and insecurity. At their core, excuses are built on the idea that there's a safer, more comfortable option. But comfort doesn't lead to growth. Comfort doesn't build success. Comfort doesn't push you to the next level. The truth is, every time you make an excuse, you're choosing to stay where you are, in the place that feels familiar, even if it doesn't serve you anymore. You have to realize that greatness requires a shift in mindset. It's about stepping into discomfort, embracing the unknown, and deciding that your dreams are more important than the temporary relief that excuses provide. Excuses tell you to wait for the perfect moment, but the truth is, there will never be a perfect moment. The right time is now, and the best opportunity to take action is always in front of you. If you want to break free from excuses, you have to first acknowledge them. You have to recognize the patterns in your thinking and the stories you tell yourself that keep you stuck. Often we are so ingrained in these habits that we don't even realize they're holding us back. But when you make a conscious decision to call out your excuses and challenge them, that's when the transformation begins. Ask yourself, what am I afraid of? Why do I feel the need to procrastinate? What would happen if I simply started now, instead of waiting for some future guarantee? When you shift your mindset and stop waiting for perfection, you begin to see the world differently. You realize that progress doesn't require everything to be in place. It just requires the courage to start, even when the conditions aren't ideal. Excuses only hold you back if you allow them to. But once you recognize them for what they are, fear disguised as reason, you can make the choice to move past them. Break free from the trap of excuses, and you'll discover that the only thing truly standing between you and greatness is the story you've been telling yourself about what's possible. Pain is an unavoidable part of life. Whether it's emotional, physical, or psychological, we all face it at some point. For most people, pain is something to avoid, something to escape. It's uncomfortable, unsettling, and in many ways we view it as a sign of something going wrong. But the truth is, pain can be one of the most powerful tools for growth if we learn how to harness it instead of letting it defeat us. Think about the hardest experiences you've had, the ones that caused you the most pain. Maybe it was a failure, a heartbreak, a loss, or a time when you felt completely out of control. In that moment, it probably felt like everything was falling apart. You may have wondered how you would ever get through it. But here's the truth, the pain you experienced didn't break you, it shaped you. It forced you to grow. It revealed strengths you didn't know you had and showed you that your limits are not where you thought they were. Pain, when properly understood, can serve as the catalyst for transformation. It's in our darkest moments that we often find our greatest lessons. Without pain, there's no true change. Without struggle, there's no strength. The process of overcoming pain forces us to confront our weaknesses, our fears, and our insecurities. It challenges us to dig deeper, to push harder, and to become the person we are meant to be. But you must be willing to face it head on. What many don't realize is that pain is not permanent. It's temporary. It's always followed by the opportunity to emerge stronger. The problem is that too many people get stuck in the pain. They let it define them, let it dictate their actions, and they allow it to trap them in a cycle of victimhood. The secret, though, is to use pain as fuel, not as a crutch. Every painful experience holds a lesson. The sooner you realize that, the quicker you can move forward. You've heard the saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but it's strong. It's the pain that teaches you resilience, patience, and perseverance. When you experience pain, you're given the chance to grow beyond what you thought was possible. If you face it with the right mindset, you can turn your pain into power. It's also important to remember that pain doesn't discriminate. Everyone, no matter their background, wealth, or status, will face hardships. The difference between those who emerge stronger and those who remain stuck is how they respond to that pain. People who achieve greatness don't avoid pain, they embrace it. They see it as a necessary part of their journey. They understand that without the challenges, there will be no breakthroughs. When you start to embrace pain as part of your growth process, you stop running from discomfort. Instead, you start seeing it as a stepping stone on the path to your best self. Each setback becomes a lesson. Each challenge becomes a victory in disguise. Pain is not the enemy. In fact, it's one of your greatest allies in the pursuit of greatness. When you learn to harness it, you unlock your true potential and discover what you're truly made of. In a world brimming with distractions, the ability to focus has become one of the most underrated and vital skills for achieving greatness. We are bombarded with endless stimuli every day: emails, social media, phone notifications, news cycles, and countless other things begging for our attention. And in the middle of all this noise, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. The most successful people in the world, however, understand one crucial thing: the power of relentless focus. Without it, even the greatest talents and opportunities will be squandered. Focus is more than just the act of paying attention to something. It's the ability to block out everything else and direct your energy, time, and mental capacity toward one single goal or vision. When you focus relentlessly on your purpose, you eliminate distractions, doubt, and indecision. It's a laser-like concentration on the outcome you want to achieve, regardless of the challenges or temptations that try to pull you off course. This kind of focus requires discipline and commitment, but is the key to unlocking your highest potential. One of the most powerful aspects of focus is its ability to give you clarity. When you focus on the right things, the path forward becomes clearer. You stop getting caught up in the noise and start moving with purpose. The overwhelming number of choices and options that once seemed paralyzing suddenly narrow down to the few that truly matter. With relentless focus, you can channel all your energy into the actions that will bring you closer to your goals, rather than being scattered and divided. What most people don't realize is that focus isn't something that just happens naturally. It's something you must actively cultivate. It's a muscle, and like any muscle, it must be trained and developed over time. If you've been distracted by the constant pull of modern life, it may take time to rewire your brain and build the mental strength required to focus at the highest level. But the good news is, once you develop the skill, it becomes one of your most powerful assets. You'll find that the more you focus, the more progress you make, and the more momentum you build toward your dreams. Focus is also essential for overcoming obstacles. No matter what field of path you pursue, there will be challenges and setbacks. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't go according to plan. But when you have relentless focus, setbacks become temporary. You don't allow them to sidetrack you. Instead, you view them as part of the journey, knowing that each obstacle is an opportunity to grow stronger and learn something new. In today's world, where distractions are constant and our attention spans are tested, the ability to focus is more valuable than ever. And the truth is, the people who achieve the most remarkable feats are not necessarily the most talented or the luckiest. They are the ones who stay focused, who refuse to let distractions get in their way, and who are willing to invest their time and energy into what matters most. If you want to achieve greatness, You must learn the art of relentless focus. It requires discipline, patience, and a deep commitment to your purpose. But when you master it, you'll unlock a world of possibilities. The distraction will no longer hold you back. You'll be able to move with purpose, clarity, and confidence toward the life you've always dreamed of. The question is, are you willing to make that commitment? Time is the most precious resource we have. It's something we all have in equal measure, yet it often feels like we never have enough of it. We put things off, we delay, and we wait for the right moment to act. But here's the harsh reality: there is no perfect moment, and there's no more time to waste. Your time is now. The choices you make today will shape your future, and the actions or inactions you take today will determine how close you get to the life you've always wanted. Procrastination is one of the greatest barriers to success. We all fall into the trap of telling ourselves, I'll start tomorrow, or I'll wait until I'm ready. But the truth is, tomorrow never truly comes. We keep pushing our dreams to the next day, and before we know it, weeks, months, or even years have passed. The opportunity to act is always in the present moment, and the longer you wait, the further away greatness moves. Time doesn't stop for anyone. It's constantly moving forward, and if you're not moving with it, you're falling behind. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that we have all the time in the world. We look at the future and think, I have plenty of time to figure it out, but life has a way of changing unexpectedly. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. In fact, the only moment you can control is right now. That's why the key to achieving greatness is to stop waiting. Stop making excuses about why it's not the right time. The time to act is always now. And the more time you waste waiting for the perfect moment, the more opportunities you let slip away. One of the most powerful realizations you can have is that your time is limited. It forces you to prioritize. It makes you ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish, and what am I willing to sacrifice to make it happen? When you recognize that every minute counts, you become more intentional with your time. You stop wasting it on things that don't matter, and you start focusing on the actions that will bring you closer to your goals. Greatness is not about waiting for the right time or perfect conditions. It's about making the most of the time you have right now. It's about showing up today and putting in the work, even when the circumstances aren't ideal. When you take consistent, focused action, you begin to build momentum. Each small step forward brings you closer to your vision, and over time, those small actions compound to create massive results. You may not feel ready, and you may not feel fully equipped, but that's okay. The process of becoming great doesn't start with waiting for the perfect moment. It starts with choosing to act in spite of your doubts. It starts with deciding that today is the day to take the first step, no matter how small. Because every step, no matter how small, moves you closer to where you want to be. So ask yourself, what are you waiting for? What is holding you back from taking action right now? Your time is now. Every moment you spend waiting is a moment you'll never get back. Don't wait for the perfect opportunity created by taking action today. Time is the most valuable thing you have. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you'll start using it to create the life you've always dreamed of. The time to act is now.